Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Do you remember playing Zelda II on the NES, getting all the way to the Great Palace, final palace in the game, and having to fight these stupid bird knight jerks? They move and jump very randomly. You can get some hits in, but for the most part, you just die. Well, today, we're going to take a deep dive into how to properly fight the Fokkas and make your life a whole lot easier, so stick around.
Prepare for days! Yeah!
All right, thank you for joining me again, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to kick off 2024 the right way and fight us some Fokkas. Before we get started, I do want to say that yes, in these videos, when I'm explaining things, I use save states. It just makes it much easier to record the video. If you'd like to see some of my playthroughs on the original hardware, I'll put some links in the description for some of my speedruns or my no damage playthrough. But for this video, I am going to use save states. It just makes my life a whole lot easier. Okay, so we are fighting the Fokkas in the Great Palace. And like I just showed a second ago, these guys, man, are they a pain. They do a lot of damage. Come on! And they can kill you really quickly. And one of the things that I like to do in these old video games is I like to figure out how things work. So with these Fokkas, my focus was to try to eliminate this movement that's so crazy. And I've done it in a lot of other video games, and I've found that for the most part, old games like this use the most random thing to create randomness, and that's the doofus behind the controller. We are really the only true random thing in the ROM, in the code. Yeah, they can use some interesting ways to develop RNG. I'm sure you've heard the term randomly generated number. But for the most part, the easiest way to randomly generate a number is just to track what the player is doing. Whether it's just your X coordinate across the screen, as you move, that X value is going to change. And there's a randomly created number that's created by us. So as soon as we can strip out the one true random part of the game, you'll see that, well, maybe they're not as random as we thought. All right there, jerkhead. Just how random are ya? Wait a minute. When we stop moving, he seems to... He can throw a knife that misses your shield. He can throw a knife that's just a little higher than your shield, or just a little lower than your shield. But you'll notice if I stand just off of him, he throws the knives and then jumps at me. Yes, the jumping is random, but as long as I'm just beside him, he clears me. And I can kind of stay safe just letting him bounce around like a stinking ping pong ball. And then the magic. How do we attack him? Well, when he jumps over us, we just stab him in his butthole. And that's really it. That's the way that I've found to fight the Fokkas the easiest. Once you stop moving around, their movement really is pretty easy. Yeah, you're going to take an occasional hit. Like I said, they can throw a knife, which I think we saw there, just above your shield that you can't block. Or they can throw a knife, I believe, that's just below your shield if you're up, and just above your shield if you're down. It's that like pixel right in the middle. So you can still take damage there, but as soon as you stop moving around, they become a lot easier to dodge and we can keep ourselves safe. All right, I can hear it now. I can hear your thoughts. Like, you suck and you're a cheater. He never's out in the open for me. He's always, come on. He's always got me trapped underneath this ledge. You must be a cheater. Your beard stinks and you're ugly. Well, that's not a very nice thing to think. First off, and second, fine, I'll show you a way that you can fight him underneath the ledge as well. Even though I think the best thing to do when he gets underneath this ledge is to retreat and just load the screen again and hope for a better movement that can allow you to get out here and get into this fight. But let's say you are trapped and you're a doofus that doesn't believe in reloading the screen, and you want to fight him underneath here, I would suggest using a technique we call in the biz the jackhammer. Essentially, this low ledge keeps us from bouncing off of the enemy when we downstab. Normally, you downstab, the game throws you off of the enemy, but with this ledge above us, it keeps us over top of him. And anytime that you're over top of an enemy and you press down, you'll do damage. So by mashing the down button, we can do multiple damage to him underneath here. It's still a lot more dangerous to fight him underneath there. Did I save it there? I did save. I am a genius. Jackhammer. So that's one thing we can do. Jackhammer. Whoops. Jackhammer. Essentially, as long as you press down fast, we can get some hits in. Still much, much safer to retreat. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to the blue Fokkas in Zelda 2. And I think everybody knows this room. This is a room that plagued a lot of people's playthroughs, especially when we were kids. In the speedrun, we call this room the quantum leap room. We're going to make a big jump and evade and avoid this guy and go really, really fast. And that's just the key in the speedrun. If you've watched anybody play this game, we're not going to kill these guys because it's a waste of our time. It's faster to go past them. But in this room, there's a little safe spot. If we're up 4 blocks here, he can't hit us. We just hold down and we're going to block all of his shots. Bink. And then if we choose to stab him, we can stab him in his stupid bird beak face, allowing us to beat him and never have to worry about getting hit. Now, I know everybody says, well, you want to do the proper way, it's a cheese, and your cheese stinks and it smells like feet. Okay, fine. Whoops. Let's think of a better way to fight this guy. Let's go back out. Yoink. And let's fight him more sportsman's-like Andre the Giant from The Princess Bride. How do we fight this guy more sportsman-like? Well, we use the same technique we did before. Let me give him a save state right here. Okay, and... well, wait a minute. Are you telling me we can just sit here and block him just like the other guy? And stab him in his butthole? Wait a minute. Oops. 1 extra hit, 2 extra hits, and death to the blue Fokka. Really, that's it. Those are the main ways. Wait a second. Video done. It's that simple. I thought this was going to be harder. No, the Fokkas in this game really are tricky, but if you can slow yourself down and watch their movement, you'll find out that just evading them and blocking isn't that bad. And being able to upstab them right into their crotch is an effective way to dispatch these enemies. But wait! There's more! If you want to see how I took care of these guys in my no damage playthrough, banana-na-na-na-na-na, thunder! Thunder! All we use is a couple thunder spells and we can dispatch of them without ever having to fight them. And that's the safest way and what I used in the no damage run. You know, I think I'd like to do a full explanation of the Great Palace, because one of the things that people that I see play this game miss out on is the fact that at the end of Zelda 2, when you're all leveled up, you are a great and powerful wizard. I think most people saved their magic to make sure that if they took damage that they could give themselves life, and they thought, I'll use the life spell so that I can live longer, instead of realizing that you're a magician that can turn enemies into bots and thunder across the screen and ferry past enemies. At the end of the game, it gets actually pretty easy if you can utilize the spells properly. So we'll take a deep dive into that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. I hope this video has been helpful and that you've enjoyed it. If you have any more questions about, well, Zelda 2 on the NES or any other NES game, let me know. I really enjoy making these videos, and maybe check out my live stream. But until then, see you later. Bye-bye!